Scary Alvarez is back for us all watching another loss. ESPN gave Oregon a 97% chance to win and gave, of course, Wisconsin a 3% chance to win in this game. And I remember thinking before the game started, wow, they're giving Wisconsin a 3% chance to win. That's pretty cool. What an incredible snapshot and microcosm of where the Wisconsin fan base is heading into this game, which I had predicted to be much more of a blowout than it was. The weather, heavy winds, rain, all that kind of stuff certainly worked in Wisconsin's favor here. And it's not crazy to think about a competent Badger offense coupled with the strong effort this defense gave. They weren't perfect. The secondary had a lot of lapses, but they, by and large, played pretty tough tonight. Riger with a really nice sack. Posa doing Posa things. West continuing his dominant performance as a punter, team MVP. But the offense, and I understand we got the fourth quarter, Hunter Simmons to Lance Mason touchdown, which is, it's something. Rather have a touchdown than not have a touchdown. But I want to be clear about this. The fact that Oregon didn't cover, I really didn't come that close. I don't want this to be misinterpreted by Wisconsin fans. I think under normal conditions tonight, Oregon would have boat raced Wisconsin. So what I saw was the very same problems relating to offensive ineptitude that had existed all season carried over into this game. Just the fact, guys. There was nothing I'm going to take from this performance that leads me to believe this team has gotten or will get better. I think at one point, I think Simmons was like 1 of 16 or something. And yes, I understand he got some against the second string. Better having it than not having it. I'm sure Lance Mason is going to remember this touchdown because they're few and far between. But don't be fooled by this. Despite fighting hard, in quotes, this was another incredibly disappointing performance where really, even when it was 0-0 late in the first half, you just kind of felt like Wisconsin wasn't going to put up enough points to make it close. And a 14-point, for example, deficit against Oregon with this Wisconsin team is like a 35-point deficit for a normal team. That's how rough it is. Not all negative. Again, several individuals played hard. I like to see it. Could have been a quit. Oregon's a tough-ass team with an absolute cutthroat coach in Dan Lanning. They weren't doing Wisconsin any favors. They weren't easing up. Mother Nature helped a lot, so thanks there. A lot of bettors taking a bath tonight. I would have been one had I put money on it. Gideon Ituka, maybe with the exception of one or two other games this year, that was the hardest I've seen a running back go for the Badgers all season. Tough, straight ahead often, but tough, strong, gutsy running. You love to see. I think this kid's got a future, guys. Got a future. Fourth string. I say fourth string running back is a lot better than third string quarterback. I think that's fair to say. But one thing I think it's really important here to not get lost in any of this in the night air, the humid, showery night air in Eugene, Oregon, is this team is still broken. The very same things that plagued it in recent weeks continue to plague it this week with the ineptitude of the offense, the lack of creativity in the play calling. That's on Jeff Grimes and Fickell. When it was 7-0, Oregon punched one in there at the end of the first half, and there was time left, and Wisconsin didn't even try. Where have I seen that one before, except in every game? Yeah, this is not some sort of endorsement of what Chris McIntosh said in his gobbledygook, incredibly unpopular and logic-free, fact-free statement he hit Wisconsin fans with early in the week last week. This doesn't prove anything other than the fact that, yeah, we need more talent. But anyone who'd watch this game and think that Luke Fickell's been the coach for almost 3 full seasons, and this is where we are, can't possibly, even using the most wild version of their, erring on the side of Fickell, could think that is where it should be. Because it's not. It's brutal, terrible, embarrassing, toothless, and great. You laid some money on Wisconsin, and Oregon didn't cover tonight. Congratulations. But in the context of the Wisconsin Badgers in 2025, this is the same thing over and over again. And scoring 7 damn points doesn't mean anything. I mean, would I rather have 7 than 0? Yes. Obviously. As I always said, I'm happy for the guys who got the touchdown, but it's like, I don't know. It's turning me into a crotchety old grandpa or something. Like, it's just, like, we saw people on ESPN or online, like, ooh, Badgers Oregon 0-0 late in the first half, upset Bruin in Eugene. There was not one blood cell, brain synapse, chromosome in my body that thought for 1 second that meant Wisconsin was going to win this game, which is crazy and terrible. And that was goddamn right. So were you. I know you thought the same thing. Any Wisconsin, there wasn't a Wisconsin fan who's been watching this team who, when it was close in the first half, thought, oh yeah, we might be able to take this game. Maybe a little fantastical thought came in your mind. It's the weather's this bad and just miracles happen and blah. But really, all of your genes that relate to logic and analysis let you know that was not going to happen. So, where are we? We are 0-5 in the Big Ten. Okay. We did not tie the all-time shutout streak at 3 in league games that the 81 Northwestern Wildcats had previously held. They can break the champagne out. That record's not going to be broken. So congratulations to 81 Cats. Y'all are safe for another year. But if you told me Wisconsin's going to get shut out again by Washington and shut out again at Indiana and shut out by Illinois, wouldn't be shocked. This might be the last touchdown this team scores this year. I was calling for Carter Smith. I know there's some issues with redshirting and things like that, 4 games, and and maybe throwing him to the dogs at Oregon is not the kind thing to do. But as a Badger fan, I would have noticed. I'm going to show a little pride. Let that talented 4-star kid out of Florida who works hard and probably has some warts, but has some talent too. Carter Smith probably has more talent in one of his hands and a calf muscle than Hunter Simmons does in his whole body. And that sounds mean. Sorry, Hunter. Hunter's going to be a great accountant or something. It's just not, he's a good kid. That's great. And he showed some guts hanging in there. But that's the guy we're starting. It's just unbelievable, guys. So I'm going to wind this up. Had longer ones, but and by the way, congratulations to PJ Fleck and the Minnesota Golden Gophers for going down to Iowa City and laying down to the tune of 42-3. That's as close to Wisconsin as going to get to a win today. It's a robust Gopher defeat. Unbelievable. Interview the guy from Gopher Hole. Nice guy. We're going to have this out next week probably. And I don't think we expected this one. But Situation is the same. And now with that 4-game stretch done, the hardest 4-game stretch maybe in Wisconsin football history, it is the time now to move on from Luke Fickell. He will welcome this. I'm telling you guys, it's not taking money out of the equation. He's sitting in a dental chair with no Novocaine, getting drilled every single week. No one's asking, is it safe? Give him a shot of Novocaine. I could see Fickell being relieved of his duties, and this guy's building a back porch or something, or probably not building anything in Madison, but you know what I mean. Going to Menards, whistling, little bounces back in his step because he doesn't have to coach this team that he's built. This disaster of a team. And as I always do, it ain't everyone. A lot of kids were playing hard tonight, and I respect the hell out of that. But it wasn't even close to enough. And the final score was significantly closer than anyone expected. That's a meteorological gift. Thank you. But wow, not a lot of fun, guys. Scary Alvarez is out.